working here has been informed, written to, by the district forest officer. And also previously in January, an exercise was carried on here. And in that exercise, 10 excavators were impounded here and seized and sent to Bekwai. And still they are here. So it tells you that they are recalcitrant. We will onward relay the information to the national security apparatus.
So that is the minister there laying out the context within which these excavators, some were bent, as we just heard, some currently beyond reach and will be dealt with subsequently. But Ohimen, explain to me how we've heard stories about the excavators being burned. I saw one on television, courtesy your own self, where it's on fire. What is it? They just pour petrol on it and just put fire in it and burn it. What happens exactly?
Yes, Evans, it's actually a process. The process has to be first, there should be an instruction from a senior government official, and that actually came from the Deputy Minister Designate for Lands, Benito Owusubio, who instructed that the team made up of the military, forestry commission officials and the media personnel go ahead and then burn that particular excavator. So the fuel is actually diesel, is drawn from the source, and then it is poured onto the excavator, after which a fire is set onto it in the full glare of members of the team. Where we went, for instance, with the Odan Forest Reserve yesterday, and when the excavator was being burnt, it did happen in the presence of security personnel of that particular mining company, which we are told has been recalcitrant after several efforts, several attempts to make them withdraw their equipment from site. They have refused. So this was done in the full glare of everybody, and everybody actually, saw the excavator being set ablaze. And by the time we left there, it has already, burnt substantial part of the excavator, which probably will make it unusable. I'm not sure anybody at all can repair this excavator and put it to use.
Were there any arrests?
No, there wasn't any arrest. Apart from the Oda River, where we met some security personnel on duty, the Subin shelter bed, for instance, and that of Bosumche. And then today we've been to two forest reserves in the western north, Anyasu East Forest Reserve, and then the Afao Hill Forest Reserve, and now we are in Tano Ofin Forest Reserve in Ashanti region. We don't meet anybody on site, so there's nobody on site for the team to even effect arrest.
You talked about security operatives on site. Are these part of the anti-Galamsey task force?
The security on site, they are private security personnel hired by the mining firm that we are told was given a prospecting license and then forest entry permit, and whilst a lot of documents, including mining lease. So they are not members of the Galamstop group, but they are private security personnel working for the mining firm.
You've also seen the destruction firsthand. Describe to me how devastating this has been for the areas you've been in the forest reserve.
Evans, the devastation, I'm not sure I will have the words to describe them. In almost all the places that we've been to, you could see virgin forests being raised down, in some instances, as big as the size of, say, 50 times the size of a normal football pitch. So this is what we are talking about in one mining concession, the devastation that has been caused to virgin forests. And these virgin forests, in most cases, are forests that officials of the Forestry Commission have spent money doing plantation of economic viable trees like Sideria, Melena. A lot of them have gone with just down the drain. The unfortunate thing is that because these illegal miners are in a haste, they don't care what happens to these economic viable trees, whether to allow the Forestry Commission time to harvest them or not. What they normally do is that they bury them in the mining pits. And in most cases, especially with the Subin forest bed, we saw Shedua, which we are told is one of the most economic viable trees used in furniture production. A lot of them had been destroyed and they were lying idle on the ground. In some instances, they tried to bury them in the mining pit. So that is what has been happening. I can see for instance, the tunnel of Forest Reserve where we are now, damage has been caused to substantial parts of the forest, but unfortunately, nobody is on site to explain as to how they managed to enter the forest. But we are told by the Forestry Commission that on several occasions that they tried to combat and battle these illegal miners, they have failed. Some of them are arrested, sent to the police station, and later some get released by instructions from above, and some of them, when they are also granted bail, they don't even visit the police station again. Their whereabouts are unknown. Some are even processed to court. They don't come to court, and they are nowhere to be found. So these are some of the challenges that the Forestry Commission has gone through. Even today, the CEO, John Alote, explained that he's tasking his men to be on their guard to ensure that in previous times there has been frustrations. These frustrations of people, frustrating the activities and operations of the commission now is coming to an end. Once they have the opportunity to drive these illegal miners away with their equipment, they should take advantage and then protect the forest reserves so that they don't allow them back into the forest again. But he also expressed another concern that in most cases where we've been to, these excavators are parked just few meters away from the forest reserves. So he expressed fear that if care is not taken, these illegal miners, some that probably will need about 2 or 3 minutes to enter the forest reserves, can also go back to cause destruction to the forest reserves. So he says this issue will be discussed at the national level to ensure that national security also comes in to support this cause, Evans.
And finally, the National House of Chiefs is wading into this issue. We know that Occupy Ghana and other civil society groups have criticized. In fact, the Small Scale Miners Association have criticized the approach of destroying the excavators. But the president of the National House of Chiefs says they are in full support of of government's approach on this matter.
Yes, the president of the National House of Chiefs, Ojiahoho Yaojibi II, this afternoon also added his voice, saying that government's decision to not confiscate the mining equipment used by these illegal miners in forest reserves and water bodies is the best decision that can ever happen. So he is calling for support for this particular effort from government. He says because these equipments are being used for illegal activities, now the burden of responsibility now will lie on the illegal miners, but not government. So he supports the cause that indeed these equipment should be burned down instead of being confiscated to bring other issues to bear in this regard.
Thank you very much. I want to take you, that's from the Ashanti region. I want to take you now to the eastern region in Kede, to be very specific, where we're just learning the number had increased to 31 suspected national security operatives who have now been arrested, who had attempted or were suspected to be mining in the Etiwa Forest Reserve. I want to bring in now my colleague Kofi, who has been following this angle of this unfolding war against illegal mining. And for us, and Kofi, tell me, we understand that the residents of Kede played a central role in arresting these suspected national security operatives. Tell us more.
Well, Evans, that is true, but let me correct this. The residents are rather in Akatin in the lower West Achim municipality, but the range within the Forestry Commission is the Kede district. So that is how it is. Let me say that the Forestry Commission officials or guards, together with the residents, arrested 19 of these national security operatives. They claim they are. And They were sent to the regional police command yesterday, but later on in the evening, 11 of them were also arrested. And I'm told one person who fled the scene was also apprehended this morning. So it brings the number of persons arrested from 19 to 31. The story is that the residents claim that when about around 8 p.m., they saw some people dressed in military attire. They had on them some sophisticated rifles, including an M16 rifle, handcuffs, and pepper spray, and other military accoutrement on them. So they informed the forestry guards, who also mobilized some of their people and the residents, and stormed the mining site and arrested first 19 of them and later the rest of the people. So the Kade district forestry manager, his Kwabena Edubona, he told me that they are bent on ensuring that nobody mines in the forest reserves.
Very true. Yesterday, around 8 o'clock in the evening, informant from the community canteen informed us about the presence of some people in military outfits entering the Galamsey area in Asua region. And so we mobilized, and around 4 o'clock, we went to the community. But then they were coming down. So with the help of the community, we were able to arrest about 19 initially, and then brought them straight to the regional police command, while the other 11 was arrested later by a team that was left.
And Kofi, do we know what has happened to these 31 suspects? Are they behind bars? Have they been transferred? Because I've seen the pictures you've sent us. These people came in several V8 vehicles, some of them pickups as well. It looks like they were very well resourced.
That's true, Evans. They were very well resourced. They brought in about 5 vehicles. They were all Toyota vehicles, V8 engines. And as I speak now with you, the suspects were kept at the Eastern Regional Police Command. But this morning, I'm told by police sources that they've been transferred from Koforidua to Accra. In fact, what the police source told me is that the military high command in Accra demanded that they come into their custody so that they can investigate the issues.
Kofi, thank you very much. And we'll shortly be hearing from the Asantehene himself, Otumfuo Setutu II, who has been speaking today about this war on illegal mining. He's wading into it, talking about why government had failed in the past and may fail again unless they involve traditional authorities in this particular fight. But let's stay with this latest incident of the arrest of the 37 men suspected to be national security operatives. I want to bring in right now the Kede District Manager of the Forestry Commission, Mr. Edu Bano, who joins us on the telephone line right now. Mr. Edu Bano, thank you for your time here on Top Story.
Yeah, thank you too.
Great. I mean, so confirm the number for me. A total of 31 people we understand you picked up?
Yes.
And we understand they all claim to be national security operatives?
Yes.
I don't know if you've managed to verify any of these.
No, we send them to the police to do that investigation.
Are they still in custody or they've been transferred?
As of this morning, they were still in custody, but I can't tell for now whether they are still there or not.
What do you understand, because this is your forest reserve, what do you understand they were doing in the forest reserve?
These people went to the reserve. They said they came because of the mining. And as to what they were to do, because they say they are national security operatives, that they were supposed to have an information and report back a whole lot. But upon inquiry, we realized that there were some men within it who also know how to do the illegality. And so using the other ones as shield, they could have also dig and then take those samples away.
I mean, I'm curious. 31 well-armed, because I've seen the videos and the pictures. Well-armed, so-called national security operatives came in V8 vehicles, pickups. How did you manage to arrest them? Did they surrender?
The community did support with our team. We had a rapid response team with us, and then we also had our district monitoring team made up of forest guards and then the range officers. And then the community supported us so much. Almost the entire community.
Okay, so this was almost a community action working together with state agency to effect arrest.
Exactly.
But there were no exchange of fire.
No exchange of fire. There were no casualties.
You say you had a rapid response team. Is it made up of your own forestry commission, armed people, or police and military?
That's forestry commission response team, rapid response team.
I mean, this particular forest reserve, of course, is part of that which is banned generally across the country. Since the ban was imposed, they gave an ultimatum which elapsed last week. What has been the situation with this forest reserve? Have you seen the situation improve in terms of illegal activities in the reserve?
Honestly, it wasn't an area people were mining illegally. This thing came up around, let's say, 2 weeks ago. And so when we started the arrest, so far we've arrested about 65 people. When we started the arrest, the activities subsided until this group who claimed to be national security came in. So it wasn't that much serious.
So largely that forest reserve remains intact. You haven't lost any forest cover.
Not so much.
As of tonight, I mean, with what has happened, are you maintaining a certain level of vigilance?
Of course, yes, we are doing so.
I mean,
at the moment, even the DNI are with us, the police and all the agencies of concern.
So they've sent you reinforcement. Is that what it is?
Not yet.
Do you require that?
Yeah, we are in the process.
So you are going to request for reinforcement?
Yes, my superiors are doing that.
I mean, I just wonder, is this based on intelligence you are getting that you may need more, or, the hands on the ground are simply not enough?
For now, we just hope that people like that may not surface again. If it's only the community members, they are not harmful to, control. So we just hope that those armed men will not surface again as it used to be.
Thank you, sir, for your time, for that clarity on that unfolding situation there in the Eastern region, where, as you just heard, 31 people have been arrested. The question is, where are they currently? Are they in the police custody? Have they been transferred? Especially when they're claiming to be national security operatives, something that, of course, we'll be checking with police sources to see what has happened to these people who are arrested and were in custody as of this morning, we're learning. Well, also tonight, we're hearing from the Asantehene himself, Asantehene Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II, who is saying that government's failure to strategically engage traditional authorities is a factor in its ability to sustain the fight against illegal mining. Listen to him.
We used to mine for gold, but our water bodies were not destroyed. But why are we destroying our water bodies in recent times? Chiefs should be involved in curbing illegal mining.
Yamano say one quarter good, no so from Crofonia, Galam say no, I cannot so. Nana no need to miss what they cost up. And a man and unmoving so yes, and Amatiana says, say, could tuna minima, and a Miss Baquaco yibi. The Aquafunia Nina.
That's the Asantehene of course, associated to the second speaking to us, of course, speaking today at his palace at Mensah on the issues. Well, another angle of the story tonight is that 200 police officers are currently being deployed, in fact, have been deployed to large-scale mining sites. The Deputy Minister Designate for Land and Natural Resources, George Merikuduka, explains why.
The nature of mining and its associated activities lend themselves to sophisticated attacks by various groups. Ladies and gentlemen, indeed, the pattern of recent security incidents suggests unbridled brazenness by the perpetrators. For instance, some miscreants broke into the explosives magazines of Percy's Mining Ghana Limited and made away with detonators. It is therefore appropriate that, as the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, I engage all stakeholders to facilitate the creation of dedicated police units for the mining sector. Ladies and gentlemen, let me take this opportunity to acknowledge and thank the 5-member committee I inaugurated to oversee the provision of security for the mines and also urge them to continue their work to ensure its sustainability. It is in the light of this that the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, in collaboration with the police administration, took the decisive step to lay the foundation of today's personal ceremony to provide security to the mines. To the graduating personnel and officers, let me use this opportunity to congratulate you for successfully completing the training program. Ayuko, as you are aware, the fight against illegal mining and the protection of our environment is a national priority. Glorious as this day may be, let us keep in mind that a more wonderful future awaits us.
Of course, we're keeping an eye across what is happening across the country tonight on this front of the war against illegal mining. More as the team with Ohiming wrap up this monitoring exercise in parts of the Ashanti region. More on this on Newsnight and on myjoyonline.com. Newsnight starts in 2 minutes.